SeaWorld San Diego is my home park, and is currently home to 5 different roller coasters. I feel like when it comes to ranking these 5 roller coasters, a lot of people have it pretty consistent. Now, I just wanted to warn you, going into this ranking, that I have some unpopular opinions here. Please remember that it's totally okay to disagree with my opinions or anybody else's opinions because they're, well, opinions. The comment section is a great place to have a constructive conversation about differences in opinion, and I highly encourage you guys to go ahead and just do that down there. Or you can use the comments to tear my opinions to absolute shreds, which is probably the more entertaining thing to do. Enough chit-chat, let's get on to the top 5 roller coasters at SeaWorld San Diego. Before we get any further, I just wanted to say that all this footage in this video is courtesy of Airtime Thrills and his raw footage channel, so huge thank you to Airtime Thrills. And also make sure you guys subscribe if you enjoy roller coaster content, as I'm sort of just starting to get my foot in the door of roller coaster content. Okay, let's get into the ranking. Coming in at number 5, we have Arctic Rescue, the Intamin straddle coaster. This by no means is a bad ride. Arctic Rescue is actually a ton of fun. It is, however, forceless. Just because it's forceless doesn't mean that it doesn't do anything. It actually has a really fun layout full of a lot of really good twists and turns. The tire launches, while not that fast, are a lot of fun, giving you a nice boost, and there's a lot of really good theming elements around as well. A lot of people say Arctic Rescue doesn't have any theming, but it actually does. I think that it has a really good amount of theming. The soundtrack is also really cool, and the straddle seating on the snowmobile-style vehicles is a nice touch as well. I just don't quite understand why it has a 48-inch height requirement, when it's clearly a family coaster that should be catering towards a 42-inch height requirement. So, yeah, that's a little odd. Yeah, overall, Arctic Rescue is a fun ride. It just doesn't really do all that much force-wise, and I think that every other roller coaster at SeaWorld San Diego at least has something else going for it that Arctic Rescue does not. Coming in at number 4 is Journey to Atlantis, a water coaster by Mack Rides. I have a love-hate relationship with this ride because I rode it as a kid when it was in its true glory. All the effects were working, the audio was perfect, the ride was smooth, and it just looked great. This ride looks very, very cool. The coaster layout at the end isn't really super great. It's just a big helix and then an S-bend into a water splashdown. But it's still good. As far as theming on ride goes, you have some audio cues, and you do have an elevator lift inside of the big tower, which is fun. But with all the effects broken, it just isn't really quite the same. It feels very bare bones. The reason why I'm giving Atlantis the edge over Arctic Rescue is because Journey to Atlantis has a full, cohesive storyline. Basically, the story is the Department of Ocean Mythology is giving tours to the lost city of Atlantis, and you go along with one of the department's research interns, Maggie, to the lost city of Atlantis. Poseidon then tries to trap you in Atlantis forever while you make an escape going into the final splashdown. And just the fact that this ride has a cohesive story, it has a pre-show video, it feels like they actually tried to theme it, I think that that's actually really cool. Fix all the effects on this thing, restore it to its former glory. I think Journey to Atlantis could potentially move up to number 3 on this list. Speaking of number 3, and I know I'm going to get a lot of crap for this one, but my number 3 roller coaster at SeaWorld San Diego is Emperor, the B&M dive coaster. I know, rush to that comment section. Go ahead and start screaming on your keyboard. Oh my god! TYT Coasters put Emperor at number 3! How could he do such a thing? Don't get me wrong, I love Emperor, and when this first opened, it was my favorite in the park. However, there is an issue with this ride that I think has been happening with a lot of newer B&M roller coasters. It's rough. It's really rough, alright? It's shaky, it has a rattle, and it gives me a headache every time I ride it. That does not take away from the awesome layout with a really good drop and a great paced B&M dive roller coaster. Compared to the larger models like Griffin and SheiKra, this thing just absolutely shreds through its course, and it's awesome. I love that. At the end of the day, it's rough, and it has horrible restraints, and the theming is, well, non-existent. Emperor doesn't even have a station building. It looks like an absolute eyesore when you're up there. At least the plaza looks really good. The ride looks good when you're walking up to it, but the station platform is just it's just disappointing, everybody. I gotta be real. Not to mention that the music on the ride is just basically the Antarctica music from SeaWorld Orlando redone for this attraction. I don't know, it just feels like SeaWorld didn't try with this one. And I know a lot of people say that Arctic Rescue was rushed, but at least it looks like they tried to theme it. This one it was plopped down on a dirt plot of land. Heck, they even have these big dirt mounds that they try to pass as icebergs. Like, what icebergs are brown? Give Emperor a station, give it a little bit of theming, make it smooth. This is easily the best in the park, but there's just too many problems with this ride for me to look past. It also seems to be one of the most unreliable B&M roller coasters ever, because most of the time when I try to ride it, it's down. I don't know what's up with that, it's just down. Coming in at number 2 is Electric Eel, the Skyrocket 2 by Premier Rides. Yeah, I know, I put a Skyrocket 2 above a B&M dive, get over it. In all seriousness though, I actually really like Electric Eel, and I really like Skyrocket 2s. They're really fun, extremely forceful rides, fit into a compact plot of land. The only problem I have with Electric Eel is the fact that the restraints are just terrible. Comfort collars is proven by Icebreaker and Full Throttle and every Premier Rides coaster to come before the comfort collar, they're really not needed. They're just there to make the general public crowd feel safer because there's something going around their shoulders, hence why they're labeled as comfort collars, even though they're uncomfortable. With the uncomfortable trains aside, this ride is fantastic. It has a really cool swing launch, has some really good sharp pops of ejector airtime, great hang time, and great vertical G-forces. I really don't understand why so many people hate on Skyrocket 2s. Yeah, I know that they're a cloned layout, I know that you can find them all over the place, but they're really fun. I would much rather have a Skyrocket 2 than a Vekoma Boomerang. Just like how you would much rather have a Batman the Ride clone than a Vekoma SLC. Does Emperor have a better layout? Yeah, but at the end of the day, Electric Eel is just presented so much better. The ride looks just so clean, and I love the queue line with all the sand. I think that it just looks really, really nice. And the station building and front entrance of the attraction fit in so well with the Explorers area of the park. And I think it just rounds out that whole section of the park. I think that Electric Eel looks great. I think that the soundtrack is great. I don't know, I really enjoy the presentation of this ride, and I really enjoy the ride as a whole. Plus, for a ride with one train, I gotta say, the Electric Eel ride operators absolutely deliver. They are sending that train so frequently. Amazing operations at Electric Eel all the time. And of course, at number 1 is Manta. This ride doesn't just look great, it rides great. It's super smooth, and while yes, it is a family coaster, it offers great vertical G-forces and great negative G-forces as well, along with a little dash of laterals towards the end. The way I look at this ride is basically like mini Maverick. Maverick if Maverick was a family coaster. That's what this ride feels like. Feels like Copperhead Strike without the inversions. Not only is the ride good, but like I said before, it looks great. The queue line takes place in an aquarium, and then when you exit the aquarium, you have this beautifully landscaped hill with this ramp that leads up into the Manta station, which has these amazing looking murals of these manta rays. I don't know, it just looks so good. Plus, you have that first launch section where the vehicle moves back and forth in this really well done tunnel effect, where it feels like you're a ray charging up, I guess. Do rays charge up? Is that what they do? The soundtrack. Oh my god, the soundtrack is so good. Anyways, Manta's the complete package. It's one of the best family coasters. It's easily the best roller coaster at SeaWorld San Diego. While it doesn't quite have the forces of Emperor or Electric Eel, it's the complete package. You can never have a bad ride on Manta. So that's going to do it, you guys. The top 5 roller coasters at SeaWorld San Diego. I know that most of you guys probably won't agree with my placements of number 3 through number 1. Just let me know in the comments. What do you guys think? What is your favorite roller coaster at SeaWorld San Diego? Do you think that Skyrocket 2s are overhated just as much as I do? I don't know. Let me know. And make sure you guys subscribe. This is TYT Coasters signing off.